Recently, Fieldcraft Survival came out with this bag. It's called the Backcountry Carrier. And when you go into the great outdoors, you want to have a convenient way of carrying certain items. And when students come to my survival classes, they often struggle with like, where do I put everything? Do I put it in a backpack? Do I put it in a chest rig? Do I put it in a shoulder bag? Do I put it in all my cargo pockets? Do I put it in my backcountry carrier? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some basic contents that you may want to put in your backcountry carrier because it is a convenient way to carry a bunch of gear. You guys, if you've been to my classes, you know that I carry a chest rig, and I'll show you what you might want to carry in this guy right here. So let's start off with this. I like modifying gear, making it mine. And there's this component here, this pouch, which is meant for a holster. Now, the way that these pouches work is that you have two zippers, and when you configure this one in this position here, you can yank down and you can access your pistol pretty quickly. What I would recommend is removing this zipper pull, because you don't need to worry about quickly setting this up, but you do need to worry about grabbing the right zipper and accessing it quickly. So I would just have a single T zipper at the very top. That way I can pull this down, get to my pistol, and be good to go. So remove that T zipper. You can hold on to this for other purposes, I guess. Now, when this was designed, it's my understanding that this pouch, the medical pouch, was designed to hold our BCK. Now, you guys can carry a BCK with you to a course. There may not be a very high likelihood of using a bleeding control kit in a survival class, because most of the time we get injuries to the palm of our hand, our fingertips, whether they're punctures, lacerations, or burns. So you might want to take something like little bandages, boo-boo bandages, and tuck them in there, but realize that you could still put all of this in here and still tuck this away to give you a little bit of peace of mind. Worst case scenario, better to have it and not need it, and then need it and not have it. So this is designed for that BCK. You can see it fits in there pretty nicely. And as I said, there's room for those little boo-boo bandages that make you feel better because they've got, you know, Ernie and Bert and Big Bird and all that. So I would keep that dedicated for the medical stuff. One thing that I would do, even though it does have a panel on the outside that shows a cross, I would take red duct tape or red paracord, and I would make our zipper pulls here red. That's just me. I want to make sure that if someone's looking at this from afar, they can identify that there's medical gear in there. This is a sectionalized pouch. It's got a little elastic on the inside. And at the most basic survival classes, we're asking students on a regular basis to make fires, tie things together with cordage and whatnot. So this is almost like a perfect pouch for a frequent use item bin. Like, here's a whole bunch of cordage, your spool tool and whatnot. I'll hold off on putting the multi-tool in there. You can put a flashlight in there for later on. You know, I would never recommend putting your compass without some type of case in there. I can show you where this could go, but you could use this as a dedicated nav pouch if we were to remove all this other stuff and just use it for land navigation. That's on you. And I've got other things that could go in here. This is a dedicated signal mirror that could go in there, but it's not a frequent use item. So you might want to tuck that in your emergency side and actually let the first aid kit be a little bit of padding. There is some padding here, but that first aid kit would provide a little bit of padding for your mirror. When we get to the main pouch, again, if we assume that the pistol's in this back one, what else could you put in here? So this thing opens up, got two pockets here, and you have a Velcro sleeve. So what could you put in here? Well, I like having my dedicated tools, like a knife, center line as much as possible. I want to be able to reach for it with either hand, utilize it however I need to, and be able to put it back one-handed. I'm not a fan of scout carry because good luck resheathing that blade with your other strong hand. And I'm definitely not a fan of people carrying knives inverted on their shoulder straps where the edge is facing their neck. If you want to carry a knife inverted on your shoulder straps, be an educated adult. Carry your knife with the edge on the opposite side, not some way where you could draw it and potentially cut yourself, whether you're sheathing or resheathing. But it is okay in this case to carry a knife inverted this way or right side up on this side. But just remember, however you decide to configure your backcountry carrier, If you're using it for hunting or shooting a rifle, you don't want anything over your shoulder that could interfere with getting a good cheek weld with your rifle. So try to keep that minimalist as much as possible. Okay, so what are some of the other things we could do? Here is a Fieldcraft Survival Tourniquet. This tourniquet, whether you decide to carry it in the pouch or not, that will fit inside. You could also run this on that shoulder strap if you needed to. Maybe you are on a motorbike or an ATV or something where you're not necessarily concerned with the rifle. So that would not be a bad place for that. So now here's something. In the survival classes, we rely on tarps, we rely on ponchos, and this right here is a 5x8 tarp, and it seems kind of excessive, but you could carry a 5x8, or maybe it's a 6x8 sil nylon tarp on the outside. So you could set this up as kind of like a grab and go, where you have it staged in your vehicle, you need it, you grab it, and you got it. So let's talk about a couple other things. Fire starting equipment. Fire starting equipment is frequent use. Again, that would go in that left-hand pocket. Let's see what else we got here for you guys to throw in here. Oh, yeah, people are going to be talking about this one. Exotac fire sleeve in my signature OD green. Okay, so right now I've got this thing fairly packed. I've got just about everything in here that a student would want to carry. This is a multi-tool. Depending on how your multi-tool comes, you may want to put that multi-tool lower on the shoulder strap just to get it out of the way. So you guys can find whatever pouch you want, but you can take this webbing out of here and then put it through a belt loop and run a multi-tool pouch sideways. Easy enough, right? So you can add your own pouches to this. It's really up to you. I mean, my chest rig that I've been using since 2014 has been modified a lot of times. Now, a couple other things. If you're taking a navigation class, you're going to want to have a way to travel with your eyes. So maybe instead of utilizing these pouches for your shelter kit, you use it to hold a monocular. There's so many different options, and that's really the great thing about having all this added capacity. It's not like you are limited to just your pants pockets and what you can put on your belt. Now you can get items up and in front of you where you can access them. So guys, I'm not going to tell you all the different configurations. I mean, there are many that you're going to decide are going to be appropriate for your needs. But just understand this is what I would do if I were you. To recap, remove one of the zippers so you only have one point to grab onto and to identify. Keep all your dedicated medical gear separate, adding red paracord. Have a frequent use pocket, which you're going to go into for cordage, fire, multi-tools or whatever. Have a shelter pouch. One thing that I didn't mention was a water bottle, but it does have provisions on the back panel where you could hang like a platypus or a camelback, and that could be your flexible water bottle, and then just add some purification tablets. A couple other things real quick before I forget. There is a small pouch down here. This one, you know, if I were to put something in here, I would utilize the tunnel pocket more than I would utilize this one. Since this one does have this T-handle, I always worry about pockets coming undone. So I would remove that one too. And if I needed to get to this, I would just use my finger, and then this way there's no way that this thing could get snagged. Products always get damaged when there's a way for them to get snagged. So guys, that's what I would do. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share your loadouts with us here at Fieldcraft Survival, and whatever feedback you got, send it to contact@fieldcraftsurvival.com. Guys, that is the Backcountry carrier, and that is what I would put in it if I were a student coming to one of my survival classes here at the company.